Alright guys, do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you're new to the channel and if you enjoyed this video. So let's get on with the video. So I made a video titled, "Can Dominic Breazeale defeat Deontay Wilder? Does he even have a chance?" And I'm going to make the same video regarding Jarrel Miller. Can Jarrel Miller beat Anthony Joshua? Please let me know in the comment section below as to why you think he can or as to why you think he can't. I would really appreciate it. Obviously, when it comes to boxing, when it comes to fan bases, at least boxers who have bigger fan bases, whenever they're fighting a guy who has a smaller fan base, that bigger fan base is always going to be, there's always going to be more people, because obviously more people know who he is, and that's when it comes to Anthony Joshua. So obviously there's going to be a bunch of people telling me that Jarrel Miller has no chance against Anthony Joshua, and I respect that. You know, you guys have your opinions, that's cool. I have my opinions too, so hopefully you guys respect my opinions. When it comes to Jarrel Miller versus Anthony Joshua, and Deontay Wilder versus Dominic Breazeale, I actually think that Jarrel Miller right now is better than what Dominic Breazeale is, and some people might think that's, you know, a crock of shit. I personally think Jarrel Miller is a better fighter than Dominic Breazeale. That's just what I'm saying. I know that what's his name, Dominic Breazeale has been in there with better quality opposition. Well, if you think about it, he really only fought one better quality opposition, and that was Anthony Joshua, right? Let's be real. He fought Anthony Joshua, but if you take away Anthony Joshua, who's the best guys he fought? Izugono, who wasn't a proven fighter at world level. You know, if you take away Anthony Joshua, Jarrel Miller and Dominic Breazeale's resume is pretty much the same. But I think that Jarrel Miller is a better talent. That's just my personal opinion. Obviously, everyone's different. Maybe you guys disagree with that. Maybe you guys agree with that. But when it comes to me, I personally think that Jarrel Miller is a better talent than Anthony Joshua. Excuse me, not the Anthony. I personally think that Jarrel Miller is a better talent than Dominic Breazeale. So I think Jarrel Miller is going to do better than Dominic Breazeale. That's just what I personally believe. That doesn't mean I think he's going to beat him, but I think he's going to do better just because he's able to get on the inside, in my opinion, better than Dominic Breazeale. Dominic Breazeale has no defense at all. People say Jarrel Miller has no defense. Dominic Breazeale has no defense. Dominic Breazeale is a guy that walks forward and tries to walk his opponent down, and he doesn't move his head. He doesn't move his head, and this is why whenever you see Dominic Breazeale's face, it's literally busted up. You ever look at Dominic Breazeale's face? His entire face is busted up. Okay, he's bleeding everywhere. He's bleeding profusely everywhere. His face is all swollen up. He's all black and blued up, and it's because this didn't just happen against Anthony Joshua and Izugono. This basically is how he looks. He looked like this when he fought Amir Mansour. He looks like that because he doesn't have no defense. His way of defense is, let me just take whatever my opponent's best punches. Let me just take it, you know, and that's not good. You know, you're not supposed to be getting hit that clean. Now, when it comes to Jarrel Miller, he actually has a high guard up. People say he does get hit, but at least he has a high guard up. You see Jarrel Miller when he comes forward. Let's say he tries to stalk his opponent. You see him put his hands up. He put his hands up over his face to protect it, kind of like Arthur Abraham. You remember Arthur Abraham? But the difference was Arthur Abraham wasn't as active when it comes to letting his hands go. So he puts his hands up to block punches. So it's not like he just comes forward and lets a guy hit him in the face and just hopes and prays he could absorb all his best punches. No, he'll come forward, kind of like Errol Spence did against Kell Brook. When Errol Spence fought Kell Brook, he was coming forward. He was getting hit, but look at what he was doing with his hands. He had his hands covering his face as a form of defense. That's how I look at what's his name? Jarrel Big Baby Miller. So I do think that he's better defensively than Dominic Breazeale. He's probably not as big as a puncher as Dominic Breazeale, or maybe they're quite even. But I think he's a better body puncher. I think he knows how to cut the ring off way better. I think he knows how to apply pressure way better, because he actually knows how to fight like a guy his size, as opposed to Dominic Breazeale. He doesn't fight his size. Dominic Breazeale is Dominic Breazeale is like 6'8", but he doesn't fight like a guy who's 6'8". He basically stoops down to the level his opponent's style. He suits his opponent. Like, he comes forward and he bends, he arches his back, and he fights his opponent's style, and that's why he gets beat up. That's why he was getting hit flush against Fred Cassidy. Fred Cassidy's 5'11", but he was fighting Fred Cassidy in a phone booth. How you 6'8" and you fight Fred Cassidy in a phone booth? He could have easily made Fred Cassidy's life a living hell if he would have just tried to box Fred Cassidy and uses his arm reach to have Fred Cassidy chase him and be on the back foot. But he tried to fight toe-to-toe with Fred Cassidy, and he looked like crap against Fred Cassidy. Anyway, when it comes to Jarrel Miller, I just think he's a better quality heavyweight than Dominic Breazeale. So I do think he is going to do much better against Anthony Joshua. That's just what I personally believe. I believe he's going to do much better. I still think he's going to lose. I still think that in the second half of the fight, because Jarrel Miller has come out and said that he's going to get rid of Anthony Joshua by the second half because he believes Anthony Joshua fades in the second half of fights. But I personally believe that by then he probably would be real beat up of all the accumulation of punishment he had received for the first 6 rounds, and Joshua will probably get rid of him. It'll probably be the other way around. Joshua will probably get rid of him after 6 rounds. Well, maybe no. Maybe after 8, 10 rounds, because Jarrel Miller does have a good chin. But he's yet to be tested against a guy who punches as good as Anthony Joshua. But I do think that's what is going to happen. I think he will be the one to get stopped rather than AJ. But there you have it. I just personally believe that Jarrel Miller is a better fighter than Dominic Breazeale. So I do think he's going to be in a more competitive fight with AJ than Breazeale was. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think of this video. Subscribe, and I'm out.